And then just down the hill, Johnson City was fresh off winning the Mark Wytalk tournament last weekend, and the Wildcats were back out on the court and trying to extend their winning streak as JC hosted Maine-Endwell on Thursday, tipping off our high school hoops coverage. Let's head to Johnson City as ME faced off with JC. Emery Guzik here pumps and hits the jumper as the Wildcats got up 12 early, and then off the inbound, Annabelle Burke, she pops and drains it. Wildcats up 14-0 with just 4 minutes left in the first. Spartans bouncing back. Kaylee Herba there goes high off the glass, and the Spartans go on a run with Maddie Acker pulling up for 3. Spartans within 4, still chirping away. Tessa Lamoureux with the baseline jumper. Then in the second, our co-athletes of the week start to show out. Aaliyah Hankey with the rebound and puts it back. Wildcats up 21-12. 3-ball here keeps Sparty in it. But the Wildcats keep the lead and push it to 17. Emma Phelan, co-athlete of the week with the easy layup. And Spartans are down to actually 67-50, that in Johnson City. We hit the Section 4 scoreboards now. Spartans of Unitigo, they beat the Sydney Sabres 57-42. And Delhi, an 8-point winner over the Warriors. Delaware Academy 61, Walton 53. The Trojans winners on the road Thursday night as Green picks up a 10-point victory 43-33 over Bainbridge Guilford. And finally DH dropped at home 49-19 as Oxford upends Deposit Hancock by 30 to round out the night.